For a good while now, you guys have been dying for me to check out Jawbreaker, so let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lone University. Today we're checking out another three-piece by the name of Jawbreaker. You guys have asked for the track Want, which is from the band's debut studio album Unfun, released in 1990. Never heard of this band before, but I love the cover with the cat. Makes me miss my cat. I used to have two. They are no longer with us. Sad reacts only. But on a lighter note, let's get to it. Want by Jawbreaker. Good groove. Interesting. Oh, this is fun. Love that bass intro. Sounded like he actually used some notes in the outside of just the 1-3-5 that kind of give it just a more neutral sound. It sounds like a fourth in there. I want to kind of hear that one more time before we let it go. Definitely down in A major, which is a great sounding key to me. I don't talk about this a lot. I have synesthesia. Songs in the key of A are yellow to me. Just big and beautiful. That's probably the weirdest thing I've said in a while, but I love songs in the key of A. Every key has its kind of own thing with me. So let me go back and hear that. Love just the tone, crispy. Sounds P-bass, just P-bass-ish to me. Let's go. Yeah, he's kind of going up to that fourth, which is interesting. You know, normal arpeggios, you just have kind of a 1-6-4-5 thing, but he's kind of riding on that fourth each time. So in A, that's just the fourth. And he keeps returning to that same note choice, which kind of gives it just a different, something kind of refreshing outside of just 1-3-5. It's cool. Good production. Hear everything really well. Nice. Flat 7? Interesting. I didn't expect that. It's a flat 7. So if we're in the key of A major here, the 7 in the scale is G sharp. And sometimes a flat 7 just gives it, again, just a bit of a out of character sort of, like it's very obvious. It'll pull your ear out of the tonality you're used to. Cleverly used. I like that. Let's hear that there, because it just sounded like they landed on it like it's going to be a part of the chord progression. C1, or need to go back a little further, get into that. That's super cool. So 1, 6, 4. Feeling happy? Now they go up to the flat 7. G natural. Kind of gives it a different sound. I like that. Nice. I'm not going to go all the way back to hear if this same bass part was similar earlier in this verse, but you can hear some bass chords ringing out under there. And I always love the distinct sound. Again, this sounds very P-bass-ish. That's always a tongue twister for me. Sounds like a P-bass to me with a pick, kind of a wide open tone on the tone knob. Crisp, clear, fat, rich. It's just like P-bass is a classic sound. It just kind of works for everything. and that's why people use them. But I love the distinct sound on a P bass when there are chords played in this lower register. And again, I kind of thought about this when I covered that Less Than Jake song. I was using a P bass, and there's a lot of like 3-note chords kind of in the lower register, and somehow, as fat as a P bass tone is, when you have the tone wide open, it tends to add this glassy clarity, and it doesn't sound like a muddled mess down here, which is, again, I talk about this a lot. Bass chords down here can sound really jumbled. But there's a really nice separation in that tone. I can kind of hear like a minor third starting on fret 2 on that F sharp. You can hear it right there, and it's just a fat kind of grand piano thing. Right there. One more time, you kind of hear that F sharp minor. There it is. And I kind of hear it on all the chords he's going through. I think you might be doing the 1 with that major third as well. But I love this interval down here. Really interesting sound. There it is. Back to that flat 7. Back to the intro. Great change of the phrasing. It's interesting kind of hearing that intro more by itself and now hearing it more in the context of the song. The bass is completely driving the feel of this song, like the actual feel. It's like the drummer is almost following the bass player here, because we kind of go from that fast kind of straighter, and here it's kind of, it just makes me want to go side to side. Keeps going back to that 4/3 thing there, which is interesting. It's kind of like common tone. Again, I talked about this before. If you can find similar notes in your chord progression, let's say you have a 4-chord progression, if you can find 2 notes that all of the chords kind of share in their native scales, you can kind of work those into a riff, and it almost makes the riff sound a bit more cohesive. It's not like it's just kind of bouncing between. It kind of keeps some common notes in there. I don't know, it just kind of glues the progression a bit, and kind of hearing it in context, that's what made me think of that. A little more groovy and syncopated. Back to straight. Haven't commented on the vocals yet. Very classic skate punk sound, and I'm saying that as someone who really didn't grow up in any sort of skate punk scene, but based on some of the reviews I've done so far, I'm kind of just gathering. It's a very unique sound, and I don't want to say Less Than Jake in a sense, but it kind of reminds me of that. Less about the vocals themselves, but just the tonality of the song, the feel. It's really upbeat, kind of puts you in a good mood. Not as fast as some of the Less Than Jake songs I heard, more like a slower version. Almost Green Day-ish as well in the vocals, maybe early Green Day, which I'm a bit more familiar with. I like them. It's almost like they're speaking and singing at the same time, conveying a message more as if they're talking to you, but with music behind it. And there's pitches in there. Just an interesting vocal style and take I hear a lot. Love the drum sound on this one. Oh, I love those bass chords. Back to the intro. I want you. Again, this is like classic power trio kind of stuff. Should I call them a 3-piece? Power trio? I don't know. Anytime there's a band with 3 people and they sound great, sounds like power to me. Great. I just, in this approach, it makes me think of Rush. A band I grew up listening to, a band I do know, power trio. And not to compare punk rock and prog here, but just the format of the band allows the bass player to really fill out the space when you're missing a 4th and 5th person. They have more liberty. And it can be just as melodic as the guitar part. It can almost act as a keyboard or a synth, but I love branching out and hearing him branch out and just take what could be simple root notes just adding some chordal stuff to fill it out. Really beautiful. And those progressions lend themselves to those kind of melodies. All right, I think I skipped really far back. Let's wrap this up. I want you. Want. Ooh. Nice and intense. Love the sound of that kind of doubled vocal there coming in on that last chorus. You know, this is classic 3 minutes, 21-second song. So many just classic songwriting elements. Just the way the bass intro reprises, it comes back in here at the end as a part of the straighter sound earlier. That's something I'm just noticing kind of as the song wraps up. They kind of had, the song's modes were kind of binary. You had that straighter, and then they would kind of go back to the intro and it had more of a halftime feel. But they brought back this straighter feel with the bass intro that was more of a halftime feel. Perfect reprise. Sounds like the vocals has some layering now, like I said, doubling. And it's just clever stuff. And not that complicated, but just well done to take all the elements they've introduced to you in the song and just give them to you all together at the very end. And things like that are why you want to go listen to a song again. This track has it. This track ticks those boxes. All right. See, back straight with that bass intro. Yeah. Before I got a little more educated on the punk rock scene, thanks to you guys. Big thanks to you guys for bringing me here. If I had heard this song out in the wild, this is what classic, just grade A meat and potatoes punk would sound like to me. This is what I would think of, this kind of sound. And maybe that's still true after I'm hearing a lot of different shades of it. I think I've done 20, 25 different punk bands now. I'm just completely guessing. I'd have to look at my list. But started with Rancid. We've gone through so much stuff, and we're kind of back to a classic sound that is more akin to maybe Rancid, Operation Ivy, maybe Fugazi a bit. Fugazi's a bit darker, but it's like a slowed down version of Less Than Jake, who that was my only exposure. I didn't come back and really check out the scene, as you know, but this ticks a lot of those same boxes. Again, if I heard this in the wild, this is what I think a punk rock song would sound like. Forward bass playing, teethy tone, a lot of grit on that tone. Not enough where it's like distorted, but you know, the way the guitars kind of coalesced in and out of it, and the vocals kind of have that longing, drawn out kind of thing, the way they're speaking, you know, I want you, just the way he's singing it. It's very emotive, very visceral. Great track. Thank you guys for recommending this. Just all around grade A fun stuff. And the bass was just a pleasure to listen to. Thank you guys for recommending this. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what else I've missed. I know I haven't gotten to every punk band that's been requested, but I'm always surprised hearing just all these different takes on it. I feel like I say this every video like a broken record, but it truly is fun to just get into a scene and be shown all the different flavors on the menu. It really has been fun. So thank you guys again. Come follow me on Patreon if you want to support the channel further. I love you all. Cheers. We will see you next time.